Shut up and sit down.
Ladies and gentlemen, how is everybody doing here today? Welcome to the very first Bob and Con podcast, or Con and Bob podcast, whatever name that we have right here, that is the one that we are doing. Welcome to the show for the very first time, Mr. Bob. How you doing, buddy?
Con, thank you so much for having me, obviously. I believe it was Con and Bob podcast.
Is that what it is? Did I do the thing where I put my name first? Oh, man.
That's okay. No, that's okay. The way that I looked at it was you were saving the best for last.
True. That's a good way to look at it. And maybe that's what my brain did subconsciously. Who knows, right?
It's the most memorable name goes last.
It really is, right? Like, it's like the champion, in wrestling. The last person's supposed to walk out because they're the champ, right? They don't come out first. They come out second.
Exactly.
So you're the champ in this thing, and I'm the challenger, basically.
Yeah, pretty much. No.
We're
tag team champs. We're tag team champs that just don't enter together.
I like that. We're the who does that? We're kind of like the Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins. We've always got each other's back, but let's do our own thing, and we're also a tag team.
That actually that goes into some stuff that I want to talk about.
It certainly does.
We'll get around to that.
Yeah, we got lots of time here today. I don't know. Let's talk a little bit about what we want with this podcast. What's kind of the goal here? Do we really have any specific goals, or are we just kind of going to do weird things, talk about weird stuff and wrestling?
I'm saying we eclipse Joe Rogan experience,
Ooh.
Just surpass it.
That's what I like to hear. Big dreams.
By the end of it, people will be like, what was the Joe Rogan experience? I don't even remember that.
It's all Con and Bob.
Exactly.
But I mean, speaking of Con and Bob, we will probably talk about some wrestling. So do you want to get into that now? Let's ring those bells and get right into it.
Yeah, I mean, by all means, if you want to. I know you just watched NXT.
Yes, I did. Yeah.
I wouldn't mind a little recap if you want to go off that, unless you want to go Monday through Wednesday.
Let's go Monday through Wednesday. Let's talk a little bit about
Sounds good to me.
Monday Night Raw, and you're going to have to do the talking from Monday because I did not get to witness the full show. I only saw a handful of matches. I saw some things like highlights online, so I want to hear your thoughts of Monday Night Raw instead of mine here. I was not able to watch all of it. What
happened, if you don't mind me
I was
asking?
I was away, put it that way.
All right, sounds good.
Yeah, I was away.
I
could not make the show, so I just didn't get to watch it, and I haven't gotten around to watching all of it.
All right, works for me.
So it's all up to you here, man.
Well,
carry us through.
Well, let's go through. So they started off, it was a usual, if I say to you, the usual Raw opening, what do you think of immediately?
15-minute promo segment in the center of the ring.
Yeah, it starts off with just Kurt Angle coming out.
Big Daddy Kurt.
It was good. It was good, though. It was good. It was a good little open because the promo itself wasn't that long. It was nice and short. So they came out, Kurt and Corbin, and Kurt talked about whatnot, a couple things, and kind of Corbin was just being there weird.
Yeah. Let me ask you something here about Corbin, though. Do you like this role that he's put in?
I do.
Mm-hmm.
To an extent.
Yes,
I like it because it gives him something fresh and new to an extent. And I mean, I like the concept of Stephanie McMahon being represented because she's never there.
Mm-hmm.
And Corbin, I didn't really like him in the role he was before.
Yeah, we talked a lot about Corbin there with the long hair that we talked about it probably a long time ago, that he needed to just shave the hair off, right?
Yeah.
He needed to go bald, and I thought he was going to move in the direction of a monster. However, I like this idea that they've got him as Stephanie's little, well, I'm going to say a bitch boy, right? That's really what they have in Corbin. It's an interesting role to see a big man, and as big of a man as Corbin is, because he's no small dude, right? He's what, 6'4", 6'5", 6'6", somewhere in that range?
He's a big boy,
he towered over Brock Lesnar I didn't realize he was that tall, so it's good to see him at least being given some screen time, and hopefully something comes of this. I could see, who knows, maybe in the future, if Kurt Angle ever got back in the ring, maybe Kurt versus Baron there. Maybe Corbin, that's a match.
Yeah. I think that we're headed toward a Kurt Lesnar maybe WrestleMania match.
Really? You think Kurt Lesnar, eh? I'm going to say Kurt Trips.
See, I think the other way, because already got Kurt Trips with the tag team match. And then the aspect of, like, there's so many things with Lesnar, just like in the history of it, that we know of. And I'm like, I would like to see it. The things that I don't like is the fact that Kurt, like, is a badass, right?
Yes.
Like, he has been his entire career. But he doesn't talk, like, if I were him, and I don't know if this is the fact that maybe WWE doesn't want to bring it up, but if I were him, I would be throwing out the fact that he's kicked Brock Lesnar's ass before, right? Like, he beat him in the past, yeah. And not even talking about the times in other promotions and whatnot, like just WWE. He's one of, like, the 8 people that's ever beaten Brock Lesnar.
Is that right, eh? That's how short the list it is?
I don't know if it's that short, but it's pretty short that have cleanly beaten Brock Lesnar.
Interesting.
It's
so
not many.
It makes you wonder why they wouldn't play into that a little bit more with Kurt being the GM and being pushed around the way he is right now.
That's what I mean. Like, I feel like Kurt could have easily said some stuff like, oh, if you didn't, like, catch, like, you know that you have to catch me off guard to get the upper hand. I mean, look back what happened last time we were in the ring together type stuff.
Yep.
Right?
True. I like that. I like that. But we're going to be here for 5 hours if we don't move on to the next part, aren't we?
So it was a real quick promo, though, unlike that promo that you and I just cut.
Yep.
It was, Kurt came out really quick, talk about what happened the week prior. I'm pretty sure he said, like, Heyman still has a job. Heyman was going to be interviewed later by Renee, stuff like that was announced. I'm not sure if that was from him or just later throughout the show.
Yes.
And then Roman came out to chirp Corbin essentially and be like, oh, where the hell were you when all this was happening? Like, I saw you running off. And then he said something about, Kurt said about how, like, upper management isn't pleased with Lesnar. And there was a little bit of awkwardness in the delivery of lines. Like just the aspect Roman didn't believe what he was saying.
Fair enough. Yeah, you can tell when Roman's into the promo because he's actually good on the mic.
He's good. He's gotten way better.
He needs the right what's the way to put it? He needs the right words, and he needs to be involved more in the writing process, I think. I don't think he's put in the writing process a lot, and why sometimes he comes off unnatural on the microphone. The best promo workers in the game write their own promos, or at least have some input on it, because it's their own words, right? You sound more natural when you're speaking.
Exactly.
It's the difference between reading off a script and, you know, not making it up as you go, but reading bullet points. There's a difference, right?
And it was weird because the specific line that I'm thinking of, he said something about after Kurt was like, management isn't, it goes all the way to the top. Like, they're not happy with what Brock did. And Roman said something along the lines of, oh, please don't tell me that they're going to suspend him. Like, please don't tell me that they're taking away my match at SummerSlam. And I'm like, Roman, you know that they aren't. Like, we know that they aren't because you don't believe what you're saying.
Yep.
And I'm like, I don't know if it's just the way that he was coming across or whatever, but I didn't like that. But it was real quick. And then Corbin was chirping Reigns, and basically Angle was like, okay, you can have a match right now. Oh, because Corbin said, you don't do this and that, Kurt. You just make the matches. So Kurt's like, I'm going to make a match right now then. You versus Roman. And it was actually a good match. It was about 15, 20 minutes.
Okay. So that followed right after the promo
immediately. So it kicked off. Yeah, a good match. Like, both guys had some solid parts throughout it. And just like the athleticism and the in-ring was solid. The move sets are nice and whatnot. Roman had some good, like, selling throughout it. It's little things. Like, he takes a clothesline and he, like, literally, like, he's, like, having a hard time breathing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep. No, he does sell those pretty well. So I'm guessing, I don't know the results of this right now. Like I said, I only got to catch a handful of things. I'm going to guess Roman got the win, right?
Roman got the win because Corbin tried to eventually get out of the ring and walk away.
Okay.
And then as he walked up the ramp, Finn came out and
stopped him.
walking.
You know what? I did see that. Now I remember that. Yeah. I did see that.
And then Roman, he got back in the ring. Roman hit the spear. Nicer than I've seen him hit in a while, because I know that, you know, I get worried about the way that he spears a lot.
Yes.
Like, he leads with his head. instead of his shoulder, and it's weird, but he went to the side a little bit.
Did he? So he's protecting his head a little bit more now.
I think so. I think he's getting better at that. And then the win, 1, 2, 3, and then randomly Finn just got in the ring and hit a coup de grace on Corbin after.
That makes sense. That makes sense,
weird,
actually.
but okay.
It makes a lot of sense. They've got a match at SummerSlam against each other, so
yeah,
that makes
I
a lot
liked
of
that,
sense.
though. That was good. Moved on to Bobby Roode versus Mojo Rawley.
Okay.
I don't understand it. Like,
Mojo's been killing it recently, to be honest.
I know, it was fine, but it was
the match
like...
wasn't good?
It was just kind of slow, and like there were parts that weren't that smooth, I found. I really enjoyed the finish.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed the finish, how it happened, because Bobby went to do that like jump off the rope type thing. Mojo caught him and went to reverse it into a slam, and when he like turned, Bobby reversed it again into the glorious DDT.
Oh, so Bobby picked up the win there, eh?
Yep.
Okay,
So
that's a surprising turn of events.
Yeah.
Here's me finding out the results here for once. I didn't look it up because I wanted to hear from you there. That's really interesting. That's really interesting that they gave the win to Bobby Roode. So with Mojo Rawley now being built up a little bit, do you think that they have probably a kickoff match at SummerSlam to give Mojo the win, give the heat back to Mojo?
Yeah, like I wouldn't mind it. For me, it's just kind of out of nowhere. But again, I haven't seen the last couple weeks, so I don't know if this has been building. I know there was that brawl in the locker room.
Mm-hmm.
But again, I don't know where that came from. Was that just random?
It's been building. Mojo's been basically he's been the undercard monster heel, if that makes sense. He runs through the likes of, let's say, Bobby Roode, runs through the likes of Mike Kanellis, Zack Ryder. Yeah, he's the monster heel to them right now. He's the middle of the card, 9:45 slot, not 10 o'clock slot, or the 10:15, 10:20 slot, right? The death hours, basically. Yeah. That's where he is right now. But at least they've been building up somebody in that position, as opposed to
just because he's being a dick, right?
Yeah, he's being a dick. He says that he's he's super athletic, he's super strong, he's got a good background, he's coming along on the microphone. I think he's really progressed, and I like that at least they're using those death slots to at least build up somebody. They're not just giving a throwaway match. They're not just going to put Roman Reigns versus Jinder Mahal in this match just as a throwaway. At least if you're doing a throwaway match, build up somebody with it, right?
Yeah.
I like that.
That's fair.
I want to ask a question here. So I'm going to jump a little bit around Monday Night Raw because I think there's big takeaway points from the show. So obviously, your opening one there is not bad. But let's talk a little bit about the Dolph, McIntyre, and Seth segment there, that 2-on-1 handicap match. What did you think of that, man?
So I was going to get into that. I was really excited in Roman. Well, first of all, I'm going to talk about the Breeze. Did you see the segment backstage where Breeze came up and was like,
"Yes,
I'll tag with you."
Yes,
Breeze is amazing.
Breeze is awesome. Yeah, Breeze is awesome.
And then the fact that Roman came up and was like, "I got you, brother." Like, I was really hoping that Roman did fight again because I was like, "Oh my God, this is amazing!" Like, Roman, this is the type of guy that Roman has been preaching he is, and that Brock isn't. Like, Brock doesn't even show up to Raw, let alone wrestle at Raw.
Yep.
He might hit the odd F5 on a manager, right?
Yes,
or like whatever, or jump Roman. And Roman's like, I'm out there every single house show. I'm out there every single Monday night, giving it my all. And he was about to wrestle twice in that night. And I'm like, oh, this is beautifully done. Like,
that's great storytelling right there. That's storytelling that I think goes over a lot of people's heads.
Yeah.
They are so, and I'm not gonna sit here and bash Roman haters because you can choose to like or dislike whoever you want in the WWE, right? I personally like Roman Reigns. I think you like him, right?
He is. I have become a Roman fan,
right? So he's grown on you. He's definitely grown on me. I used to dislike Roman as well, but I think you got to give the guy credit where credit is due there because man, oh man, he's done some great work. He doesn't put on bad matches anymore. It's really tough to find a bad match of Roman Reigns within, let's say, the last 6 months, 7 months. He's put on some pretty stellar matches.
It's funny because people could say, like, well, he's been carried in his matches. And it's like, really? You think that Baron Corbin is carrying his match? You think that Jinder Mahal is carrying his match?
Exactly.
No, it's the other way around. Even if the match is just fine, like, I don't think any of his matches against Jinder were like
No, they weren't super, but neither were AJ Styles
on,
versus Jinder Mahal. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like the
that's
best
more on
wrestler
Jinder's
in the
side.
world. Yeah,
that's more on Jinder's side, especially because like as much as I like Jinder as like the heel that he is and certain things, and I like some stuff, he just doesn't sell. The best matches come from people trying to outsell each other, and Jinder cannot sell. I don't know what it is. Most things he's terrible at selling. He's getting better, but he's still not great.
Yeah, I think he's back down into the role that he should be. The Jinder experiment obviously was not a success. Let's be honest. It wasn't a success, but it was fine for a heel run. If it was a face run, it would have been disastrous. But it was fine for a heel run. He got heat. I still don't understand how people can say it's go away heat. If you boo the guy and you don't want to see him, he's doing his job. At the end of the day, right? They are doing their job, because if the whole point as a heel is to get boos from the fans, you're supposed to be hated from the fans. And Jinder Mahal, well, you and me are sitting here, he's not great in the ring, he's not great at selling all this stuff as us.
But he does it the other ways.
He does it other ways. He makes up for it in other ways with character work. And you look back at some of the greatest heels in the business, they weren't always the greatest wrestlers, but their ability to get boos and to get hated is a big thing in the WWE, and it's essentially why Jinder is still, hanging around the likes of Roman. He's hanging around the likes of Braun Strowman, KO. Yep. Like, he's hanging around all these people, these megastars, because he's an easy person to get heat off of, right? You don't truly believe that he's going to also win anything big. So when he does win, it's a big shock and people get mad over it, right? And I think they've built him up really well.
I think that Jinder has built into a very nice mid-card heel who the odd time wins your mid-card title and might put on some damn fine like matches in the sense of character work at times. And one of the best things that he does as a heel, and it's very old because it happens constantly, but it's also what like continues to build heat on him because people want to see him get his ass kicked. But he just lets the Singh brothers, the one right now, I can't remember which one's there right now. I think it's Sunil or
Sunil. Yeah, Sunil.
Sunil
Singh.
Yeah, Sunil Singh's still there. He lets him get his ass kicked every single match, every single show.
And it's hilarious. It's hilarious.
And it is, because somehow every single show people are like, oh, I want to see Jinder get destroyed here. And then somehow Sunil gets destroyed and Jinder makes it off nearly scot-free. He's just like, yeah, no, I'm fine.
What a terrible job for Sunil Singh. He takes the biggest bumps and none of the recognition. Like, seriously, both the Singh brothers put their body on the line for Jinder, man.
Oh, yeah. And those dudes need to be recognized. Like, I think when the other brother comes back, I think that they should be in, like, it would be nice to see them get a little bit of a tag momentum, almost like the B team with the Miz.
That's right. I was just about to say there. Yeah, how the B team eventually broke away and became their own thing. That was another
thing. If you don't care about chronological order, I can just go through different things from Raw.
Yeah,
did you see the B team thing?
Which one was the B team? I'm trying to remember.
First the Revival.
First Revival, they beat Revival, right? And then
Matt Hardy, it was like a double DQ.
And then Matt Hardy and Bray Wyatt appeared. Right? They appeared in the ring.
Yeah, the lights went out. Lights is actually kind of funny. Lights went out. Lights came back up, and Matt was at one corner, replaced Curtis Axel, and then Bray was at the other corner, replaced. Which one's the bald one from Revival?
You're talking that's Scott Dawson. Scott Dawson.
That's Scott Dawson. Okay,
that's Scott Dawson.
So yeah, and Bo were in the ring and they were both down, like about to do their hot tag type thing. And then all of a sudden lights go out, lights come back up, and Matt's at one corner, Bray's at the other. And then they like looked and they were like, what? They got in the ring and then they basically just hit both those guys. I'm hoping it turns into a triple threat match, maybe on the kickoff show.
All right.
I don't know.
I could see that working.
Something like that, or it's leading that way, especially the rumors about Matt. Because of his injury, right? And he's admitted to his injury. And that sounds like a rough injury, like his pelvis and his spine are
fusing.
Something.
Yeah, they're fusing together.
Which is weird. Ugh.
I was listening to the former Santino Marella right there, Anthony Corelli, and he he was talking about how he kind of has the same thing going on. What it does is basically your tailbone and like your spine. I think that's what it is, tailbone, spine, or some hip bone and spine, something like that. They get fused together over time from wrestlers landing on their butts. You know what the funny thing is? When I heard about it, immediately I thought, this is from all those goddamn leg drops that he's done from leg drops, ass heights.
Yeah,
leg drops.
And
who's the one that delivers so the Young Bucks deliver the Meltzer driver, right? That's what their finisher's called. Who's the one that does the flip? Is that Matt or Nick?
Oh shit!
Or do they alternate? I don't think they alternate. I think one of them does it all the time. The flip, and then they.
Let's go with Matt.
All right. So whoever it is, if it's Matt or Nick, I remember listening to a Young Bucks podcast, and they were even saying on that they've had to pull back on that move because, let's say Matt's the one that does the flip. Every time that he lands, you watch him now. He used to land straight on his butt. Now he lands feet first and then collapses onto his butt. Yeah, and that was entirely to protect his back there because he was landing on it all the time, and the same thing was happening to him.
Well, I've told you before, I know, like, my sister grew up with Ethan Page, who is Chandler Park in Impact Wrestling, or Ethan Page everywhere else, who's a great wrestler and great character heel, kind of Miz-esque type guy. When I talked to him one time, he was talking about his moveset, and he said he doesn't care who he's working with. He doesn't care if he's working with John Cena, CM Punk, whomever. He will refuse to injuries in the past, like lower back injuries, and it's completely due to him landing on his butt.
Oh man. Jeez.
And he's like, he doesn't care what the like, if it's top tier world championship in WWE, he will not do moves where he has to land on his butt.
It makes sense, right? You got to protect yourself, right?
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't matter who you're in there with. The whole idea is to perform in a safe manner and to make your career last as long as possible, like that. And that's honestly what it is. Like, nobody's health is less important than their career, right? Their health is always more important. It's always number one, and that's the way every wrestler needs to get in the mindset. I know not a lot do, right? They put their body on the line for our entertainment, and it's why we love wrestling. But you got to make sure that you're protecting yourself every way possible. And if you feel uncomfortable doing something, you should never be shamed into doing something that you're not comfortable with, because that's when injuries happen, right?
Exactly. And there's two ways that guys get memorable in this business too. There's the way of, like, throw your body through everything, do like the most crazy athletic stuff, like a Jeff Hardy-esque guy. Mm-hmm. But sometimes that doesn't work out. Look at, like, Evan Bourne, right?
Yes.
Who's Matt Sydal on the Indies. Like, he's amazing. He's still wrestling and everything, Matt Sydal, but I really liked him when he was in WWE because I was like, this dude's so athletic.
Oh, I did
amazing.
Too. I did too.
And like then he got injured.
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
He got injured. Yeah, he got injured, and like he had to go back to the Indies, which is fine. People can make a career out of the Indies now, but he had hope in the WWE at the very least as a tag team wrestler. And then there's the flip side of it, guys like Ric Flair, who wrestled till they're goddamn 60 years old. And Ric Flair is not like a crazy athletic dude. He's never done crazy moves, but he's so damn good on that microphone and in his character work and telling the story in the ring that's how you just last.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah, you can say the modern day Ric Flair, at least that style of using a lot of ground moves, not taking a lot of high risks, is Randy Orton. Randy Orton is going to have a very long career because of the way of his style in the ring. So is The Miz. These are workers who get over with their mic work and their character work, that they don't necessarily need the flashy moves in the ring. And I think if you can ever get over with a character in WWE, you are going to make it further, so much further than you are if you're good just in the ring. And I think that's just a cold, hard fact. I mean, John Cena 100%. John Cena and Ric Flair, there you go. Those are the two guys that have 17 world championship reigns, right? Mm-hmm. It's 17, right? They're both tied at 17?
I think it's 16.
Is it 16? Okay.
I think
17 is to break the record?
the break the record and win, yeah.
16, I think you're right with the 16 there. They're both sitting there at 16 world title reigns, and both of them were very good characters. They knew how to make a match feel big. They knew how to tell a story within the ring, and they had the formula down pat. It didn't matter who they were in there with. If you followed that formula, the John Cena formula or the Ric Flair formula, they put on a good match and they get it over with their character work and the ability to kick out of moves at the last second or to hold on to submissions forever and not let go and not give up, right? That's how they got over as characters. Orton got over in a little bit different way. He was a vicious character.
With the greatest, most electrifying, it's funny because the most electrifying move in sports entertainment, right? Yeah. The people's elbow.
The people's elbow. No, it's the RKO, man.
The RKO is literally the most exhilarating move to watch because it literally can come, and the way that he does it, right? And he continues to be creative about how he's going to deliver it, or just so he's always been. His current heel right now is great, especially because that promo that we watched a couple weeks ago when we were together last week or whatever, it was the aspect where he's been the legend killer. He's done this. He's been all these different things. And I'm like, he continues to reinvent himself. And he's, in my mind, is a career heel in the sense of his best stuff always comes when he's a heel. Yes. And he is one of the greatest heels in history in my mind.
Ooh, all right. I like that. Putting him right up there with greatest heels. And that is not a fact that I think a lot of people are going to argue. You look back to his run against Triple H there, where Triple H was breaking into his house and he handcuffed Triple H and knocked Stephanie McMahon out and then kissed her on the lips in the center of the ring with the biggest snarl. He punted Vince McMahon. He punted Shane McMahon. That run right there against Triple H, that is one of my favorite feuds of all time. I remember that so clearly because it was so well built. And all it was is it was because of the heel work from Randy Orton. And I think that alone shows how much of a good character he is. I mean, like you were saying, we were talking about how he's gone back to this heel character and, ripping on the ear of Jeff Hardy, washing the paint off his face, talking in such a maniacal way that it feels like he's reinvented his character, but all he's done is gone back to the old one. He's just older now. And it's such a different feel to it because he's, like he says in his promos, he's no longer the legend killer. He's the legend.
He is the legend.
Yeah.
I know. He's amazing. We'll get to him when we'll talk SmackDown.
Yeah. We should probably get through Raw here.
I'll bump through Raw quick. Elias segment, if you saw it.
Nope, missed that one.
Amazing. Elias is just amazing. He wanted to redo his documentary because he didn't like something with WWE's. So Bobby Lashley came out, interrupted him. Okay. Lashley was actually great on the mic in this segment. I really enjoyed him.
Really interesting.
Elias is always great. Yeah, I just kind of liked how he was just kind of laughing in Elias's face in the sense of Elias was like, I think that the WWE documentary, it kind of painted me as a bit of an egotistical dick at times. And Lashley just laughed and he's like, and?
That's funny.
I don't see the point. Titus versus Razor. I don't understand it. What are they doing with AOP?
So right now, AOP is being built up against Titus Worldwide. They're the kind of jobber team, I think, to go over.
I saw, but Titus picked up the win last week against Akam. And I'm just I don't understand why. They should have never got rid of Paul Ellering. I don't know if it was a health thing for Paul Ellering that he could have.
It could very well have been Paul Ellering was put there until the Authors of Pain were at least, ready. Because when they came in, they were super, super, super raw. They had nothing. I don't think one of them even spoke the language, right? They've moved to a point now where at least they're serviceable on their own with the microphones, and they're such an intimidating force. They look intimidating that they don't need to speak a lot. What I get what they're doing with Titus Worldwide is they are building up them with, the fluke wins, to make them think, hey, we can end Authors of Pain right here. They're not that bad. And then once it's in a tag team, they're going to absolutely squish them. I think that's probably the way that they're going with it. They had to give a little rub to Titus O'Neil there because, hey, it's Titus O'Neil. You got to keep him somewhat strong. He's a former tag team champion, right? He's not like he's a nobody, even though I don't like him.
Yeah.
But
hey, Father of the Year, buddy.
Father of the Year. Father of the Year. But yeah, like I get what they're doing there. I don't think it's maybe necessarily the right decision, but if they get the losses out of the way early on for Authors of Pain, then when they want to build them back up as a monster heel, they don't have that their undefeated thing going on, because I think that's a little too overplayed in wrestling. I think the whole undefeated
you got to find the right people.
Yeah, because like here's the thing: when I look at undefeated people, I look at people like Braun Strowman, I look at people like Big Show. You look at the Bludgeon Brothers makes sense, but they're not really undefeated because they're just repackaged, right? So you got to have the right monster, and I don't think monster tag teams are best when they are undefeated. I think they're a little stale, We've seen that with the Bludgeon Brothers. It's been a little...
Yeah, I'm not...
It's been a little iffy,
I like them when they're in the ring.
Do you? Okay, so see, that's where I'm going with that one, because if you're going to have a monster tag team who is undefeated all the time, they can't show vulnerability in that ring. And I've noticed many times with the Bludgeon Brothers that they have at least been built up, to be strong as a tandem. But it seems like once they get separated, they completely don't have a clue what they're doing anymore with the Bludgeon Brothers, right? They'll put them in the ring one-on-one, and they'll just kind of feel a little off. So it's interesting with how you build up tag teams like that. I like the fact that they got at least the loss out of the way early on for the Authors of Pain. So now you can go from there and not have that undefeated thing held over your head.
Yeah, that's fair. You kind of led into the next thing is Braun in the sense. So KO had the Kevin Owens show, had Jinder on it. They talked about how, Braun Jinder beat Braun. I'm going to win the Money in the Bank. And Kevin Owens is just great on the mic. And he's just like his personal guru. And that he got healthy by what Jinder had suggested doing, all these meditate, whatever, which was great. And then he said, we're going to give Braun his rematch against you tonight, Jinder. And he's like, come on out, Braun. And Braun didn't come out. He's like, Braun, and then he didn't come out. And then he's like, see, he doesn't want to fight us, Jinder. He's already lost to us. And then Braun was underneath the stage. They were kind of off to the side in the stands.
So it was the Kevin Owens show. Okay.
Yeah, and he was underneath the stage, and he just flips the set with both of them and Sunil on the set.
Nice.
Just showing his strength. Then they had their match against Jinder. Braun did, and I liked it because it wasn't that long. Braun was destroying, and then Kevin Owens tried to steal the briefcase and run away with it.
Okay.
So he's running up the ramp, and Braun chases him down and hits him and rips the briefcase out of KO's hands. At this point, Jinder's there to hit Braun, and Braun kind of rips the briefcase and turns and smacks Jinder in the gut with the briefcase on the ramp. So he gets disqualified. So he loses for a second time to Jinder.
Interesting.
I really liked it. I like the way that, as you were just saying with the AOP, I like how he's losing a lot in fluky ways. He throws KO from the top of a steel cage.
Yeah.
Kevin Owens wins. He gets counted out a shitty way against Jinder. He smacks him with the briefcase by accident. I like how he's losing not for real ways, because it's
and I like that, because also the stipulation at SummerSlam is that if he loses, he loses the briefcase. Doesn't matter if he loses via disqualification, doesn't matter any of that stuff. So
exactly.
Let's talk a little bit about Kevin Owens, though, there. Do you think that they would put the Money in the Bank briefcase on KO?
I just think he would be so good with that on him. He's so great on the mic, and he can do anything well. He makes anything, no matter if he's getting destroyed by Braun week in, week out. no matter what, he makes it work, right? And he does amazing things.
He is probably WWE's most valuable player right now. He can do anything that you ask. You could put him in a GM role, he would kill it. You could put him in a tag team. We've seen that with Sami Zayn. He would kill it. You can put him up against management. He kills it. Put him in a world title scene. He kills it. He is WWE's most versatile player, I think, right now in the entire company.
The one thing in his WWE career thus far that I wish they gave us more of, that they didn't, they kind of like backed away from it real quick, was the like, what was his thing? The Face of America.
Yes. Yeah, that whole thing with AJ Styles.
I wish that they focused more on the Face of America being Kevin Owens, because he would have made so many great things throughout it. As like, I'm from Montreal, Quebec, Canada. Like,
yeah, and then speaks French, in his language to his people. He could be the foreign heel, but not the typical foreign heel.
Exactly.
And I wish they would have went with that. I really wish they would have. It's too bad that they didn't go down that. But I mean, hey, you know what? At the end of the day, that led us all to that entire feud with Shane McMahon, right? That's what it led to. So you got, it's like, hindsight's 2020, right?
I would like to see the Money in the Bank though with Kevin Owens though.
I would too.
I would too. I know you and I talked about it. We might do it in our prediction video for SummerSlam, maybe, if we do one of those, or maybe just talk about it if we talk some fantasy booking later in the pod.
Yes, sir. But if we're gonna get to that, we got to motor through the rest of Raw.
Oh yeah. So Brock Roman promo, very good. It got me hyped up for the match. Ziggler, McIntyre, Seth, we talked about. I would say that's the best story. I would say that's the best story going on in WWE right now.
From start to finish, so far it's been really well. Dolph and McIntyre they remind me so much of Diesel and Shawn Michaels. They remind me so much of that duo. I think obviously the difference here is that Dolph Ziggler's not the Shawn Michaels of the group. It's Drew McIntyre who they're building up. I know the IC title's on Seth and all that, but Drew McIntyre, I do not even want to hesitate with this. I think by this time next year at SummerSlam, he should be competing for the Universal title.
Yeah, that's fair.
I think give him 1 year here.
Wicked.
Yep.
And just powerful. The funny thing you mentioned that was one of the people I wanted to mention, Ziggler. Did you notice that he kind of was like dressed exactly like Chris Jericho circa 1999 or whatever? Like,
the one thing I've noticed here with Dolph is what he's doing is each week he's coming out in some sort of different attire, and I love that. Remember how he said that not even too long ago he would come out to no entrance music. And he would say that he doesn't need flashy stuff. He doesn't need this. He doesn't need a great entrance. He's not flashy, right? It's him. And what I love about that continuation now is he is such a heel that he's not allowing himself to have just one identity. He comes out with the straight, long, blonde locks, 1 week, and then the next week he's got the man bun going on with the wife beater, right? He's got so many different looks right now, and he keeps changing it up each week. Like, he'll sometimes come out looking like Shawn Michaels, and like you said, he's got that, I didn't see what he was wearing there, but what did you describe him as again?
He looked like Chris Jericho, like in the late 90s, early 2000s, like literally picture. Like, when Jericho used to wear, like, the short sleeve button-up, unbuttoned, no T-shirt underneath, and, like, tight jeans or whatever.
Yep.
That's exactly how Dolph was dressed. And I'm like, that's Chris Jericho if he had straighter hair.
I love that. That's such a good play off of the past and probably his major influencers.
Exactly. So B-Team we already talked about. Heyman interview was great.
Yes, I saw that. Oh, my God, how good is Paul Heyman?
The crying...
Yeah, the crying, when he looked up, I'm like, dude, you stoned? You high there, bud? He looked up, when he was looking down at the ground and Renee Young asked him that question, and he looks up and you just see his eyes bloodshot, and you're like, man, this is going to be a good promo right then and there.
Yeah. And then even the little, no, bring it on. Bring it on. You're just doing your job. Yep. I'm like, God, Paul is amazing.
He really is.
Riot Squad versus Boss and Hug. Great. I enjoyed it because Ruby came back.
Yes, I was. From here on in, I think I can pretty much contribute to the conversation. Yeah, it was great to see Ruby Riott come on back there. She was missing from the Riott Squad. I love the way that they reintroduced her. You know, coming through with the black hoodie. Like that's the type of stuff the women's division needs. You need storytelling like that, right? Don't just have them randomly appear one day. Give them a return, right?
And I liked it. It's funny because earlier in the episode, I was watching and I thought, why doesn't WWE do more? Like, why do we always be like, this is a pay-per-view match or this is for a pay-per-view? I was like, no shit, their ratings are dropping on Raw and SmackDown and stuff. I'm like, make important things happen on those shows so that people still think that it's going to happen on Raw and SmackDown.
Yeah, I'm going to get a little sidetracked here with that and run off that thing there. I truly.
Hang on, quick before you go off topic.
Yep.
I did not like the Rousey Fox match.
Did you not? Okay, because I did.
It was just I like that she just destroyed. It was just, and the post promo was kind of aggressive, and I liked that of it. It was just, I don't know. I tossed and turned whether I liked it or whether I didn't, and I kind of leaned toward didn't.
Okay, fair enough.
Everything was just like fine.
I like this because here you are saying like, you know, we've got very similar tastes when it comes to wrestling, but there's still just enough of a difference of opinion, you know, that we can kind of roll with that. Yeah. I'm gonna say that I really liked that match, and my reasoning for why I liked it is not on Ronda's end; it was on Alicia Fox's end. I did like Fox's character as well. Yes, actually. The mic work before that, I think her and Alexa Bliss killed it. Right before that, I think they put on a good promo. I think Alicia's crazy character is awesome. I loved her the little things that she did. She was pulling a move right out of Kevin Owens' playbook, you know, rolling right out at the start of the match, letting the distraction try to work. She was being smart. She was being cunning, something we really haven't seen from Alicia Fox before. What then though I really liked about Ronda Rousey is just the aggression. Her punches didn't look like Shane McMahon's, the weakest in the business. Like it didn't look at all like that. It the way that she threw Alicia Fox into the barricade was strong, and of course those judo arm flips, whatever they are unbelievably done because she legitimately just about rips the arm out of the socket, right? I get where you're going to say, though, that you didn't like the in-between stuff because, yes, it was clunky in between. Yeah, like, it was the whole match and, like, everything, I just found, like, oh, that was okay. That was okay. But let me ask you this right here. Let me ask you this right here. Did it not feel like a main event? It felt like there was a main event player. There you go. That's what I mean. Like that's the type of aura that Ronda Rousey's bringing, right? Like my favorite part from the entire thing was at the end when Ronda whipped the mic down aggressively, and I was like, that's an expensive mic that she probably just broke. Yep. Yeah, I know. Here's the broadcasters and us coming in, eh? Like that's an expensive microphone. But I was like, that was aggressive. Like people don't normally like even male, female, whomever, manager, anyone. Nobody whips the mic like that. I'm like, and she just whipped it. That I literally saw it bounce back up into the camera view. Oh yeah, like it easily could have bounced right back up and hit her straight in the face. Like that could have been a thing. So everything from it was like fine, and then a couple really good. Just I don't think it was enough to make me be like, that was Ronda Rousey's first Monday Night Raw match. Fair enough. I'm glad. Okay. Right? I get you with that one. Go back to this thing that I said about Ruby and the returns and stuff, though. I want to hear this. Yeah, so since we're past Raw there anyways, like you were saying, you get the idea because like the ratings are low. They want to make matches feel important on TV and all that. And here I think is one very, very simple way to bring kind of relevancy back to TV. And because, you know, a lot of people can go 3-4 weeks, catch up on YouTube with the promos, and then know exactly what happens for the pay-per-views, right? That's the unfortunate part of social media, that we can do that. We don't have to watch the actual show. But what I would do is I would have an actual TV championship. Not one that is ever defended on pay-per-views. It is strictly defended on TV, and the champion has to show up to both Monday Night Raw and Tuesday Night SmackDown. Anytime the match is on, the title is on the line. What do you think of that?
Yeah. You know what? I like that. Sorry, repeat that last part one more time.
So yeah, if you were, say, a Monday Night Raw superstar, right, and you won the TV title, you are now contractually obligated to appear on Tuesday Night SmackDown. And then, so the title is defended on both shows. So it's one TV title defended both on Monday and Tuesday nights every week.
I really like that because it brings, and it doesn't have to be main players.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking if it was like
other aspect.
If it was like a Mojo Rawley holding on to that, or a Finn Balor's not a major player right now. Let's be honest. Okay, I love Finn Balor.
Finn Balor's a huge guy that everyone wants to see.
Exactly. So he would be great to hold on to that TV title. A babyface defends it every single night, Monday night, Tuesday night. You would tune into it.
Even?
Seth, yeah, like just imagine like the matches that you could have with that. Anybody could come out to challenge for it, like an open challenge.
Chad Gable.
Yeah.
Gable.
See what I mean? If you had a TV title, you would have the ability to elevate superstars with a title that means something, but the title is defended every single time they wrestle. And I think that's kind of like bringing UFC over to WWE, because generally speaking, the champion, when they fight, if they get beaten in UFC, they lose the title. And I think that's a great way to position a champion because, yeah, why shouldn't you be champion if you beat them in a one-on-one match, right? You beat the champion. And I know that's all storytelling stuff from WWE, and it doesn't quite work that way. But if you had a title...
But it's a title that doesn't necessarily need story, which just adds excitement and flair.
Exactly. Think back to the US Open Challenge, right, when John Cena was holding that. Imagine in that segment right there, or maybe, a half hour earlier, maybe not quite the 10 o'clock segment, that segment right there being for a title every single week. That's exciting. Yeah. That's exciting. Yeah.
And you can do it to kick off the show. You can headline the show with it. You can throw it in the middle, and depending on who's in the match, and it gives other guys the opportunity, because if, say, Chad Gable is challenging for the title against a Finn Balor, and that's your main event of the night, and Chad Gable gets a good reaction from the crowd, you can now know, hey, we might be able to work Chad Gable into the mid-card title scene, and he might get some good reaction. Yeah. And it gives other guys just the opportunity to show that they can be champions in the WWE.
Yes, exactly. So, I mean, WWE, if you want to hire us, go right ahead. Well, that is what it is. So we should probably talk about SmackDown now. Yes, we'll take our cut. Let's talk about SmackDown, though, because there's a few things there that happened. I'm not going to go through the whole show, I don't think. I think we'll just quickly run by it.
Give me your highlights.
Yeah, my highlights. So right now, the good and the bad. I loved the Randy Orton heel promo segment to start off the show.
Of course.
It was excellent. I think the really good thing that I enjoyed from Tuesday Night SmackDown is throughout the entire show, they planted seeds for future feuds. And they addressed the current feuds. They didn't just, focus on one thing and have tunnel vision. Like, I find sometimes in WWE, the superstars just straight up forget about everybody else around them, and they're always focused on one person. That's not how real life works, right? You have multiple interactions. You have cross-storyline, interaction. And if you continue to plant little seeds for future feuds, they can always call back to them, right? It makes it an easy way to start a feud. And so what I loved with the Randy Orton segment there is that he basically said, I am here to take out all of your favorites. And that little thing right there literally opened up so many doors to so many feuds. You could have AJ Styles versus Randy Orton. You could have Rusev versus Randy Orton. You could have, they're doing Jeff Hardy right now versus Randy Orton. You could literally have any babyface in the WWE that the fans cheer. Daniel Bryan. Hell, there you go. Anybody in the WWE who is face and beloved by the fans, Randy Orton now has a potential storyline with them.
Well, what I like about it too is Randy Orton was one of the guys that I marked down that I really wanted to talk about in this time, because it's almost reminiscent of the legend killer aspect, where he was just picking off legends and killing, like just destroying them, or the aspect of just like it didn't matter who it was, he was gonna just mess them up, right? When he was punting guys, when he was just like hitting guys out of nowhere, when he was doing all these different things throughout his career when it was he and Edge rated RKO, and they were just like smacking who they were rivaling with, but then other people with steel chairs just because, right? Like all these different things, it brings back that same character, but now
He's older.
he's even more intelligent, and he's older, and he's got this like prowess to him where you're like, this dude is the legend, and he's going to take out the young stars and the current legends. And I really hope that, because there's been rumors that both Hardys are going to retire. I kind of really hope that he retires Jeff.
Not bad. I wouldn't mind seeing that. You could easily go with the route of a punt, bring back the punt for a night or two, to make Randy Orton seem even more vicious, if that's the direction you want to go. I still do think that they're going to get a Randy Orton versus Jeff Hardy versus Shinsuke Nakamura at SummerSlam. I think they're going in the triple threat idea, and I would not mind Randy Orton winning the title back there, but I think they keep it on Shinsuke and probably move Randy Orton up the ladder to the next part, because I really don't think it's going to be long before we see Randy Orton challenging for that WWE title once again.
So this is getting into some of my fantasy stuff that I wanted to talk about. So right. I'll save that. We'll get into that. Unless you want me to jump into it.
You know what? Jump into it now. Yeah, we probably don't have too much time left before we hit the hour mark. So yeah, jump into it now. Yeah.
So I really want to see Randy versus AJ, but I also want to see Joe win the title, because Joe has been so good, and he deserves the title, and also he's just incredible. Right? Imagine Joe at the top just destroying. So I wouldn't mind seeing Randy versus AJ as like AJ maybe even trying to win his way back into the title picture type thing. Like if he loses his rematch, say, and then all of a sudden he's in like a number one contender match against whoever you want to throw into that, whether it's whatever, I don't care who, probably like Daniel Bryan-esque person, whatever.
Yeah.
But then all of a sudden,
a way that you could still get that, where you could still get AJ versus Randy and have Samoa Joe as the champion, you could have Randy win back that title and then have AJ go after the U.S. title. I don't think that would be a terrible choice, right? Like not a SummerSlam, but let's say a Survivor Series match, AJ versus Randy for the U.S. title, has some intrigue to it. Maybe it wouldn't be Survivor Series. Now I'm thinking about that, but you know what I mean.
But the flip side of it, I think this current Randy character, I don't think that Randy's ever needed a title when he's at a character.
No,
like
he doesn't.
I think if he's just on that mindset of, I'm going to destroy all of your favorite superstars, and if you have AJ trying to make his way back into the main title picture, and then Randy just comes out and screws him out of his chance and just destroys him,
could have a personal
after the
feud
match
there,
or whatever. Yeah. Personal feud. And that's when Randy thrives. Like when you just throw a title on Randy, I feel like those are his weakest feuds when it's about a title.
Yes, you need the personal element,
best and feuds are personal.
Yeah, he has an amazing way of making any feud personal if he's allowed. He can
exactly.
He can draw emotion from the fans as a heel, especially, and literally make any babyface the most sympathetic babyface in the entire world. Like, without a doubt. Like, Jeff Hardy went from, capturing the U.S. title. Yeah, it is what it is, right? And then he lost it to Shinsuke. It's like, okay, all right, cool. But we don't really care.
So this is how they're paying back Shinsuke for losing the world title option?
Yeah, pretty much. But, like, they just kind of, they will knock somebody down a little bit like Jeff Hardy. And, he doesn't get beat up. The fans don't really react all that much more other than nostalgia, and then all of a sudden Randy Orton comes around, and holy crap, you want to see Jeff Hardy beat the crap out of Randy Orton now. Like, it's crazy what Randy Orton can do.
I think that would be really interesting, and even it gives the opportunity for other guys to fight for that world title, like maybe a Rusev. Like, he's so over as a face. He deserves to be in a title picture, and I don't think that the U.S. title is the right one for Rusev. I think he needs to be pushed into the world title. And even if he doesn't beat Joe, but if has a little rivalry with Joe, I think like the current character that we have in Rusev is amazing, and it gives guys like that the opportunity, and maybe he does beat Joe once for the title, and then Joe wins it back. I don't know.
Yeah,
But
it'd be an interesting route to go, especially that he's just coming off of a title opportunity against AJ Styles there.
exactly.
I could see them going with that eventually. I hope they keep him in the upper mid card. I hope they don't drop Rusev back down.
Oh yeah.
I think they're probably going to be splitting up Rusev Day, though. It looks like at least
That's I've been worried about.
Yeah, it looks like Aiden English is probably going to be gone from that group. We might be getting a Rusev versus English match at SummerSlam. I don't know, but
I hope they keep Rusev face. That's the bottom
well,
line.
the thing is, though, he hasn't been a face. They just, after the last pay-per-view, they kind of just started giving him face lines. But before that, he was a heel. And it was...
I know, but
it was
he's
weird.
so over, you can't. Like,
Oh,
it's
I
like
know.
Elias. This is why Elias is an anomaly to me, because he's so over, but somehow, and the fans are behind him, and he's even, like, kind of face-ish, and then all of a sudden, he's like, Jacksonville sucks, and everyone's like, oh, I hate this guy, and I'm like, oh my god, what just happened?
He pulls you in and then drops you, right?
I know, and I love it.
Yeah.
Like that was really good. I literally got chills every single time they mentioned The Miz versus Daniel Bryan at SummerSlam.
Oh, I can't believe we are lucky enough that this is going to be happening. Think back to when Daniel Bryan got retired. Like,
I'm getting chills talking about it.
I know, I am too. I'm excited for SummerSlam, man. We're finally going to get this dream match that we've been wanting for what, 2 years, ever since Daniel Bryan was roasted by The Miz on Talking Smack. Like, I know the feud goes back like 8 years, and it's a crazy good feud.
Oh, yeah.
Which pulls me back to the planting seeds. Daniel Bryan and the Miz, they always planted seeds with them, right? Everywhere they went, little seeds. Didn't matter if they were in an actual story together, but little seeds to get this big payoff of a match. If you plant seeds in every feud, you can get a bigger story out of it.
And they mentioned Talking Smack very briefly, but then what makes us as fans remember it is how The Miz got really heated again and got real serious and did not break eye contact with that camera and was going off yelling and ranting about the fact that he's been there and he's whatever and he hasn't gotten any respect from the fans, yada yada. And I'm like, oh, it's like we're watching it all over again.
I know,
but
right?
This time we know there's going to be a fight.
Yes, the entire time we were watching, like, Talking Smack, it was like, oh, this is cool and all, but we're not going to get the payoff, right? It's just going to be wasted. But no, I'm glad that they teased that the entire time. They kept the feud going between them just in case one day Daniel Bryan came back, and sure enough, thank God they did, right? Okay, so that pretty much covers SmackDown, right?
Except for Bar vs. New Day. That was
Bar vs. New Day. Yeah, Bar vs. New Day. Oh my God.
Incredible.
How did I forget about that? That was incredible.
Funniest thing too is like Bludgeon Brothers are heels. The entire match, I completely this is what I love about wrestling, especially when it's this good, like the Bar versus New Day. The Bar is clearly a heel team. New Day is clearly a face team. There's going to be a championship match at the second biggest pay-per-view of the year in WWE's eyes, right? And I legitimately did not know who was going to win because I was forgetting that it was even for the number one contendership. I was forgetting that about the logic of, oh, of course they're going to have a face team versus the heel team for the championships, because they put on such a good story in that moment, in that match, and the wrestling was incredible. The tag work, the consistent tagging between Sheamus and Cesaro was incredible. I loved that match. It made me want to see a fatal four-way tag team match between the Bar, New Day, Bludgeon Brothers, and Usos.
Ooh.
And I know that 3 of those are heels, but you can make it
make it work
somehow.
Yeah, you can make it work easily. You have two guys of the New Day, in the ring. New Day's going to be the ones eating most of the punishment. You could have the third New Day member get involved because it's a fatal four-way, no disqualification. And there you go. There's your 3 faces against essentially 3 people in the match, right? Because, they got to make their tags out. So, yes, it would be a kind of, well, you know what? Actually, Usos are kind of face as well.
Yeah, they're not face. Like, they're dicks, but they're also so loved and they're so good. So, and they can take punishment. So that's the other.
Yeah. So, I mean, that would be a really well-told match, honestly. The Bar and... the Bar and the Bludgeon Brothers there, both being the power of that, and then the Usos could add the high-flying element, and the New Day adds a bunch of elements to it. So
and also the New Day and Usos could do some because they have amazing chemistry. They could work together.
Yeah.
To take out some guys at times.
Yeah, reminiscent of when DIY and the Revival teamed up to take out Authors of Pain there in that triple threat match.
Exactly.
Could be something like that. That would be a cool little spot. I'd really like that. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about NXT here tonight.
Give me it.
Just kind of got off that NXT train. It was a good show. A lot of jobbers matches. So let me just type in NXT results here so I can make sure that I have them all. But yeah, it was a good show, man. I think NXT continues to kill it. Here's August 2018, and it was August 8th today, right? Yeah, there we go. Cool. So the main event was Johnny Gargano versus Aleister Black, but we won't kind of talk about that right till the end. So we started the show off with Amber Nova versus Nikki Cross, and Nova really impressed me. Apparently, I've never seen her before, but she apparently used to be in Impact, and this was her first match that I've seen in NXT. Good look to her, kind of cute, but jacked at the same time, and just a good look. I think she's going to go far here in NXT. I think she'll be eventually a pretty good superstar there, but Nikki Cross picks up the win. Right decision there. Quick match. Then we got some building towards TakeOver. You ready for this, bud?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so Ricochet got attacked by not one, not two, not three, but all four members of the Undisputed Era. That's right. He's back, baby. Daddy Fish is back.
Oh, yes.
So he is back, and he looks like he's actually going to be contributing to Undisputed Era. It doesn't look like they're getting rid of him at all. He looks like he's going to be a solid part of the team. And Adam Cole,
Freebird style.
Yeah, Freebird style. And Adam Cole, baby, is taking on Ricochet at NXT TakeOver Brooklyn.
God.
Come on. Seriously, for the North American Championship? That can't get any bigger.
I'm smiling so much right now that I think I might cry. I'm so excited for this.
Oh, it's going to be such a good match. I can't wait for that. It's going to be so good. The story has been so well told. And, man, also, dude, we are getting Mustache Mountain versus Undisputed Era at there, once again. A 5-star NXT match. That's right. Did you hear about that? 5 stars. They had a 5-star NXT match.
Tag team match?
Tag team. 5-star Dave Meltzer rated on an NXT TV episode.
I'm watching that as soon as we get off this.
Yep, it's such a good match, man.
Actually, just give me 20 minutes or however long.
Comes back here oh my god!
Yeah, you just hear it in the background at times. Back
off! Just record your live reaction right there. It's
exactly.
But yeah, moving on from that, then we had Cassius Ohno take on Adrian Jaoud, I think is how you pronounce his name. Once again, another jobber. It was literally the night of jobbers building up characters. Cassius Ohno is very interesting right now. He's smiling, but he's working as a heel. So he's in that transition period right now where the big man has had some losses recently. He was getting upset with himself. And now he had a win over a jobber, right? But he was a little more aggressive. I know he's the knockout artist, but he used a few more shots than you're used to. A spinning back elbow, a new finishing move where he holds him up with a neck breaker and then just leaves him hanging there and just turns around and delivers a forearm shot right to the face, a spinning forearm. It is so well executed. That is a huge heel move. And I think one day you might see Cassius Ohno join the Undisputed Era.
Oof.
And I think as their bodyguard, he would be an excellent role right there.
Oh, yeah, just as their enforcer.
Yep.
And I love the idea of just building the Undisputed Era more and more.
I do too.
And more.
I do too. I don't think you shouldn't exceed, I think, probably the bodyguard and a female competitor part of the Undisputed Era.
Or a manager-esque person.
Manager,
right?
yeah. Yeah, something like that. I think if you added a female competitor and a bodyguard, but you got to keep them indie, right? They got to be indie girls or indie guys, because that's kind of the whole
unless it's Paul
Heyman
thing. That just came into my mind.
Yeah, that would be good.
Unless Paul Heyman just comes in and is like, these are my clients. And we're like, what?
Can you imagine? That would be insane.
This is the greatest thing that's ever happened to wrestling.
We're going to move on, though, to the next little segment. We had a new backstage segment from the Velveteen Dream.
Ooh.
And it is called the Velveteen Dream Experience. And what it is, it's literally Dream sitting poolside and just chilling there. And he conducted an interview with EC3. And It was so funny the way that Dream delivered his lines. EC3 was just like, having none of it. He's just like the cocky, I'm better than you, but what am I doing here? Like, why am I poolside with this freak? And then at the end of it, Velveteen Dream tried to take a run at EC3 there. EC3 flipped him into the pool while hit him with his finishing move, the 1% into the pool. Velveteen Dream just pretended to splash around like he was drowning, and EC3 said the funniest thing I've heard in WWE in a while. He said, "Stand up, it's 3 feet deep." And Dream, the look on Dream's face from pure panic to just where he stood up was just so funny. It was so well done. That's a segment you need to see.
I love Velveteen.
Then we got a debut, a huge debut, and when I say huge, I mean over a 300-pounder debut. The big bad Keith Lee has debuted in WWE. I learned a little bit about him tonight. I hadn't seen his work before, but what people compared him to is a 300-pound Ricochet, and he did not disappoint tonight. He flew around that ring, he hit hard, and man, he finished it off with a fireman's carry into a jackhammer. That's his finisher.
Ooh.
I love it. It was well done.
How's that even?
It's just he pulled it off really well. He's a big, strong man who can do flips. Like, he landed a standing drop kick after he jumped over top of the competitor. You know how sometimes they'll launch him off the ropes, do the leapfrog over, and then duck down underneath and hit him with a drop kick?
Yep.
That's exactly what he did. And the big man, 300 pounds, jumping over somebody else is a sight to see.
That's crazy.
Yep. We got then a Mae Young qualifying match, Tainara Conti versus Vanessa Bourne. Tainara Conti, I think she's got potential. She actually has a real black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Yeah.
She's very, very well rounded in the ring. She seems to be making waves, and I hope she does well in the Mae Young Classic. So good for her. Not a great match though. Nice. Vanessa Bourne is not one of my favorites, to be honest. I think she's a little clunky in the ring, but
that's what NXT's for, though.
Exactly. Yeah, they've got time to develop. Then we had, unfortunately, a really short main event between Johnny Gargano and Aleister Black. The Blackheart, Tommaso Ciampa, cost them what was a very fun match to begin with. They got strikes on. There was nothing but high-octane offense, suicide dives, just laying kicks, laying fists, knocking everybody down. It was a hard-hitting, about 7 minutes. And then, of course, Tommaso Ciampa comes out, and he gets them disqualified. He hits Johnny Gargano first, launches him out of the ring, goes on to attack Aleister Black afterwards, beats him up for a little bit, and then Aleister Black comes back. He knocks down Ciampa, and then now he starts going after Johnny Gargano. So all three men were brawling in the ring, and we got left with with William Regal coming out, stopping the fight going on right there, and announcing a triple threat for NXT TakeOver Brooklyn.
Yeah, baby.
It was really well done. This was an excellent episode of NXT. I thought they built up everybody really well. But man, unfortunately, I think Aleister Black is injured. I think he didn't get injured here, but I did some Googling afterwards, and it's
what? It's okay in the sense of as long as he's okay, as long as it's a minor injury that he can from. Because I think I don't want to give anything away because I think we're going to do some sort of NXT prediction video.
Yep. Mm-hmm. But you can say whatever you want here. It doesn't matter if you make predictions.
Well, I think that Aleister wasn't going to win the title. And honestly, I think that Tommaso Ciampa should retain. And I will explain more in the... Actually, no, I'll explain it now.
Okay, cool. You can't leave the viewers hanging right there.
I think Tommaso Ciampa should hold the title for a very long time. So much so that I don't think Johnny Gargano should win the title in NXT.
Interesting. I see where you're going here. I see where you're going.
Because I think that it should be so, like, that thing. Think long term. Johnny Gargano is the biggest babyface. He's the best babyface in the world. And even when he's being kind of heelish, he's still a babyface, right?
Yes.
And if you just take away his titles constantly, it means so much more when he wins his first big one. Think Sami Zayn when he would finally, if he were to finally win the world title type thing, if he had never won the NXT title.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no, I see exactly what they're doing here. If they were to have, if they were to have Johnny Gargano not ever win the NXT championship and then come to the main roster, what you could easily do, and it would not be hard to do, have Tommaso Ciampa continue to screw him over on the main roster, whether it be, it may never be like, that they're always in a feud, but think back to Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn when they were feuding with each other. And if they saw each other, they would screw each other over for a little bit till they became like best friends, right? And that was a constant thing the entire way. And if you continue doing that with Ciampa and Gargano on the main roster, you're going to have some sweet, sweet storytelling. And if you can keep it going for 2 years on the main roster where Gargano just does not win a championship, he comes oh so close, build him up as that underdog babyface, you will have the next Daniel Bryan.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And it doesn't even necessarily need to be a main title, I don't think. It could be, in my mind, I was thinking kind of even, we need to make this cruiserweight title mean more. And I know you and I have both talked about the fact that we think Gargano should go to 205 Live.
Yes.
Because he's great and it will bring it. But also, Tommaso Ciampa could go to 205 Live.
Aleister Black could go to 205 Live. A lot of NXT guys could go there.
If, as they start coming up, if 205 Live, Johnny Gargano goes there and he's got his opportunities and he keeps losing, maybe Tommaso Ciampa keeps screwing him over while he's the NXT champ. Tommaso Ciampa finally comes up. Tommaso Ciampa wins the cruiserweight title, is like first opportunity, and has a nice little reign. And then eventually you have that match for like the cruiserweight title, and that's the one that Johnny Gargano beats Tommaso.
If you built up the cruiserweight title enough, then yes.
Yes.
The one thing WWE has done a very poor job of recently is making the cruiserweight division feel like it's a part of the actual show. You never see cruiserweight people fighting non-cruiserweight people. And it makes no sense. It makes no sense because you have people like Finn Balor, who are under 205 pounds, who are fighting, Braun Strowman, who are fighting Elias, who, they fight around the entire thing and they're in the main event. And it just makes you wonder, why can't cruiserweight people like a Tony Nese show up on Raw or show up on SmackDown and have a match against somebody? Like, why are they relegated to just 205 Live? I get it's the cruiserweight division, but can't they still appear on Monday Night Raw? And can't they still appear? You know what I mean? And then why can't Finn Balor show up on 205 Live? I
know. It should be a crossover promotion.
I agree. I get the 205 Live shtick is that, this is only cruiserweight wrestling. And I love that. It's an hour, right? It's an hour of cruiserweight wrestling. But that should be also better incorporated to Monday Night Raw. You should have, say if you have a tag team going on, like the Lucha House Party. Why is that not a tag team, being used in WWE as well as the cruiserweight division? Like, are you not interested in maybe using Kalisto and whatever his name is, Lince Dorado, in a tag team match on Monday Night Raw? Right? Why are you not interested in using that? Right? You know what I mean? Like, there's things you can do with them to easily fill up those 3 hours of Monday Night Raw, and that was kind of the whole purpose originally. But they just dropped that, and I think that's kind of a shame.
Yeah, I don't know where they're headed with that. That's kind of a question. There's a few things that are questionable, like the whole, I wasn't sure what the ALP thing is, and we talked about it, and you kind of swung me a little bit the other way, but at the same time, I'm still curious. Where was Sanity? I don't know what they're doing with Sanity.
Here's my idea, okay? I can talk a little bit about Sanity here, because I have a pretty good idea as to what's probably going to happen with that. I'm just guessing, but from a storyline standpoint, it makes sense. You have New Day win back the titles from the Bludgeon Brothers. I think Bludgeon Brothers are coming to an end of their reign. New Day makes for a perfect group to unseat the Bludgeon Brothers. And then Sanity and New Day did have a rivalry going on about a month ago, right? They had like all those little matches. They didn't really seem to go anywhere, right? They had a pre-show match. It was what it was. It wasn't a great feud, but it helped get New Day to this next point, right? Gave them some more relevancy back. I think a full-on feud between Sanity and New Day, where Sanity straight up attacks them right after they win the titles or something like that, would be something that I'd love to see, because then we would get the title feud plus the personal feud now.
That's fair. If that happens, I like that Sanity wasn't on SmackDown. Otherwise, why do you call guys up and just not use them?
Agreed. If it doesn't go anywhere, then you know what? They're absolutely wasting Sanity.
I have no idea what's going to happen with Bray if Matt Hardy does retire.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know with Bray either. It's unfortunate because he's such a captivating character, but he's lost so much that it's just tough to see him ever being built back up to the WWE champion, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, man. We've been going on for about an hour and 10 minutes, I think, or somewhere around there.
Yeah.
Do you have any last minute thoughts that you want to talk about before we end this?
No, I had fun. I know we had talked about doing like MVP of the week.
Yeah, I think if we were to cut down our review part, we could get to all those things. I think we ran that a little long.
No, that's fair. First time, right?
Yeah, first time. You know, we'll get better. I hope that it was enjoyable to the listeners at least.
I am curious though. Just give me a name who you think. No reason why. Just give me a quick reason why. I want to know who you think MVP of the week would be.
MVP of the week? Oh God. Randy Orton or Paul Heyman.
Fair.
Randy Orton or Paul Heyman. I think of the week they've had the best segments and the best character work, I would say. Probably MVP from an in-ring standpoint. Damn, that's tough, but I don't know. Maybe New Day. From this week, from an in-ring standpoint.
Yeah, that was definitely match of the week for me.
Yeah,
that was 100% match of the week. I'm gonna say this one's a bit off-brand. Corey Graves.
Okay, all right.
Just like I don't think that he gets enough credit that he deserves, man. Like the dude does both Raw and SmackDown, and Renee Young to an extent as well. Like Corey Graves did both Raw and SmackDown. He did the interview promo with Roman. Renee Young does Raw and SmackDown, and she did the interview portion with Heyman.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they just need to get, those two people are amazing, and they need to get more credit. Outside of that, Orton, I just love everything that he's doing right now. And yeah, that match, New Day and the Bar was incredible.
Yeah, so match of the week, hands down, goes to New Day and the Bar. Like, that was so good. Okay.
That's it for me.
That's it for me, too. I think that was a success, man. I think we're good here. Yeah. So everybody listening right there, you guys are now going to get this at some point. I think we're going to upload this on Fridays. And then it's going to be
that sounds good.
It's going to be available to Patreons a day before as well on Thursdays. So I think if you do that, if you want to become a supporter on Patreon, you can do so for as low as $1 a month and get this awesome podcast, the Bob and Con and Bob, whatever you want to call it, podcast right here a day early. But if you don't want to do that, get it on YouTube. Maybe we'll find a way to get it on like SoundCloud or something like that as well.
Yeah.
But I think that's going to do it here today for us.
Yeah.
Very excited. I'm Con, man. Con, whatever you want to call me. And I think that'll be it. So thanks for listening, everybody. Tune in next week. We'll be back once again. Thanks for listening.